What's up guys, Hades here. I'm back in the US, I have my microphone back, I'm back on my computer, and it's time to get back into some videos. Hopefully you don't have to worry about your volume anymore, and you can just keep me at a normal volume. So, today is about Open Arena. I'm gonna go over all the details you need to know forever, okay? This is gonna be kind of an all-around guide to just high-level play in the arena, because there's so much details that go around to it, and it's a really fun game mode. So let's jump right into it. Now, there's three things that I really think about in the arena, and these are kind of, I'm going to call these my key. The first one is sustain. You really need some sort of a sustain team, a healer, bulky, well-rounded, either holy or chaos, and these are two very good examples of teams that have succeeded. YSS with this boosted healing with double healer and a very strong carry, or a shadow with Fufei, which has been good for a very long time. And what you decide will depend on what's available or not. So you're gonna have to always at the start of every season look and go, well, who is eliminated from the pool? Mango's gone, Himiko's gone, Seondeok's gone. A lot of these great heroes are gone, and then you have to think about what skill restrictions matter and what's going to matter for your elements. And you can see in the ranking that it's actually very balanced this time. There's a lot of holy, there's a lot of shadow. Holy is a little bit better than shadow, I think, in this current format. A lot of it because it's a counter, and that kind of brings me to points. I guess it's three here, but counter, right? So if the best teams in the format are heavy healing, well, guess what becomes really good? Wound, right? Well, then you have Khan, you have Kin, you have things of this nature. And then the second or third point, depending how you want to spin it, is burst. And a lot of the Seondeok teams are very good for bursting, and fire has been a very important role, but as you can see, not a lot of fire because she's gone. One of the best fire carries is gone, so fire drops in priority. As you can see in the rankings, not as much as usual. It's still there, Fire Dragon's still amazing, but not as many people opt into it, and you can see some of the top players don't have it. I actually like a lot of the Thunder Wind because of the wound, right? So let's jump into this tier list and talk about it. I have some of the top attacks, skills, and some of the top Immortals. This is not all of them, but there's a reason for that. I don't want this video to be 30 minutes. Now, S tier is going to be like, you really need to look out for them. They're really at the top. And A tier is going to be very important. And then B and below are going to be niche or just not very useful. And we're going to just start off with a few of the hot picks. I'm a big Tutankhamun believer. I think he's very good. Himiko is strong, but not required. You can go with Loki. You can go with anything else. She's kind of fallen off. She's not super important, but like she's very good. I'd put her A tier. Theodora always moves the meta. One of the best healers in the game. Manko moves the meta. KK, very good. Not as good as Manko, but he can be a carry. Here's another example of a team you could be using. Triple healing with Kubo Khan as the carry. I think this would be better with Manko, but I've seen it be very successful this season. I'm actually going to show it off. Had a report earlier today, and you can see here, very much hard counters this team. It heals harder. Kubo Khan does plenty of damage, and then when he has so much around him, he's never going to die. His ultimate does plenty of damage. You just put all those normal skills on them. Stack it up, ult quickly, and get Blade Vortex, and it's just strong. Is he top tier? No, not really. Fufei absolutely warps the meta. Poseidon's good, but Manko and Tutan are fine. He's not required. Loki really drops for me. I think Fufei is the best by a lot. Never pick Wukong. I think D tier. Probably as bad as it gets. Athena, definitely around the A. A lot of people don't pick her up because people just pick Fufei and just become bulky in that way. I could see these being in the same tier, but I think Seondeok is top tier. She always makes fire strong. Hippa and Trajan are kind of important to making fire work. So if they're not available, it falls off. I'm a big Khan and Kin believer. I think you should have one or both. No, not both. You need at least one, and you need to strategically place them in your team always. Charles has fallen off for me. I think he's probably somewhere in the B tier. Don't really need him, but YSS, man. When you put him in a team like this or like this, he really just makes your healers do so much. I'm actually going to put him S tier. I think he's kind of climbed to that echelon. And then Xeno, I'm going to place her in the A tier. Now let's talk about some of the skills. And these are not as important because Immortals are gone for the whole season. You would never get to use these. But the skill restrictions, they go in a cycle. And so even if you really like them or your Immortals are required to have them or are super optimal for them, you're going to get them eventually. Blade Vortex is absolutely one of the best. It's almost always on the main carry. You pretty much need it. Execution is very strong, but there's ways around it. It can be countered a little bit. Not super valuable, but very strong. I'm a big fan of Demonic on the carry. I think it's S tier for sure. Battle Stance is a tricky one. Very similar to Demonic, but I think its drawbacks don't quite make it as important. But this is very debatable. It could easily be S tier. It could easily be just not as good. If you had no Demonic and Battle Stance, like it would swap in a priority. I'm a big believer in No Escape, but it's not super required in this game mode. It's just it's very good. I could easily put it in S tier, but I've seen plenty of teams not use it and still be like top. Now Spring of Life is broken, completely OP, and that's why Khan and Kin are here, is because the healing. You can see every top team down here all have mega healing, double healing. When you add Spring of Life on top, just very strong. Vitality easily goes S or A. Probably gonna put it in the A. And if you're not taking Athena, you kind of need Purification. Kind of blends itself there. So I hope you guys kind of get the gist of what's important, right? You kind of really need to look at these top tiers and then some of the top A's and like, where does it go? Why does it go there? If Shadow's the best with healer, how do you counter it? Well, wholly with debuff. I would love to see these teams with like Khan or Kin or something like that, or just some way to counter it, because there's always a counter. And these teams, all of them can be countered by Khan. And then you just have to think retrospectively, well, should I put Thunder in this time? Should I put Wind in? And then you have to look at the Immortals and go, well, who's available? Is Khan available? Yeah, he's available. Is Kin? Yeah, he is. And then we go into like my troop this time. I went with an interesting Wind Earth. It was the first time I've ever used them. I wanted to kind of try something a little bit new, but I go back to these basics. Do I have Sustain? Yes, I have this really nice Sustain Shadow team. Okay. Do I have Burst? Yes, I have this really nice Burst hybrid team with the Wind Dragon. And then I have this interesting kind of mixed Earth team. And just to show like, well, is this really Burst? Yeah, let's look at it. Here's one of those teams with the healer, full holy, and I crush them. Why do I crush them? Well, I got a little lucky, but Alex is single target, hitting Poseidon. Hannibal is actually hitting Kubel, but most of his damage as cleave. and the cleave goes here and here. So Poseidon is getting hard targeted, and if he dies, this team kind of falls apart. And that's what happens in these kind of matches. And this is a very quick match. It was like 35-40 seconds, because once Poseidon dies, the rest falls really quickly. And you have Kin just completely canceling out Theodora and the boosted healing from Nebu, and then what are they gonna do? You heal back and you burst them down, right? And that comes back into this, like, you need a team that's gonna burst, right? And if there was fire was a little more meta, it's gonna be very good into that. And then counter, always thinking about, well, what does the meta look like? You look at like the top rankings and you go, well, there's Holy, there's Shadow. A lot of players are using these, and delaying your first main build till like day 3 using alts. I've talked about this in videos before, but this is going to be kind of that ultimate guide to look back on. I will update this over time as people learn the game more and meta shift and people understand it more and more and more. But yeah, as we stand, this is what I'm going to stick with for a while. A lot of it is up for debate for sure, and I will continue to update things every month or two. But if you guys like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.